Now, the next animal we're going to be bringing out is an animal. When I say the word crocodilian, this is the first animal you probably think of. It's a crocodile. You are about to meet one of our crocodiles. Her name is Michelle. And Michelle came to live with us from a lovely place called Phoenix Herpetological Society, which is like a crocodilian sanctuary in Phoenix, and they're wonderful. If you guys ever go, highly recommend you stop by and say hi. Michelle came in as a hoarder situation. They had 12 of these guys, and they reached out to us at the beginning of COVID whenever we were building our sloth house exhibit, and they're like, hey, can you talk about crocodilian conservation in your programs? And they sent us Michelle, and we were very happy to do it. Now, she's something called a Morlet's crocodile. You would find them in Central and South, the very northern part of South America. They live in brackish water, and they're one of the smaller species of crocodile. When I say smaller, she's going to be about 7-ish feet long. Now, that seems huge, but compared to a saltwater crocodile, it's very manageable. Now, out of all the animals we're going to be bringing out today, please do not feed her fingers. She will take them. You won't get them back, though. Now, because she is a very sensitive animal, she's actually the most sensitive animal as far as temperature that you guys are going to meet today. She does not handle cold temperatures at all. So when we're transporting her, we actually have heaters in with her to keep her nice and toasty. And as he's walking by, you might notice that Michelle is missing a couple teeth. It's totally fine. All crocodilians lose their teeth multiple times. So as people, we get maybe 3 sets of teeth, right? We get our baby teeth, we get our adult teeth, and then maybe we get fake teeth one day. Crocodiles can lose each tooth about 60 times. It means she's growing. It means there's a bigger tooth coming in. And one of the main questions we get all the time whenever we do anything about crocodilians is, what is the difference between a crocodile and an alligator? So I'm back here behind the stage getting Darth Gator back out so we can show you side by side the physical differences between the two. And there's a reason I'm holding the alligator and he's holding the crocodile. Much worse temperament. So, side by side, you can see clearly they look very, very different. The shape of the snout on the crocodile is going to be nice and pointed, more V or A shaped. I know, it's a crocodile right there. Alligators are going to have a nice wide U-shaped snout. Crocodiles, if she were to have her mouth closed, you would see top and bottom teeth. It's going to look like a serrated zipper. Alligators, when they have their mouth closed, you're seeing just top teeth hanging down. Now, a lot of times people ask, they're like, why don't you just bring the crocodile instead of the alligator? They have a much more feisty temperament. Alligators tend to be very, very more mellow. That still doesn't mean they would make a good pet, though. This alligator is going to be much larger as an adult than this Morlet's crocodile. Alligators can be found in frozen lakes with their nose above water. She cannot handle any temperatures below 70 degrees. So very, very sensitive animal. All right, we're going to put Michelle up because she's done a fantastic job. This is actually her first day exhibiting at an expo, and she's doing great. And Darth Gator weighs a lot. She will be the one that's coming out at the very end of the show if you guys would like to get a pet on the tail. But we're not done yet because we have a lot of animals to show you. Come here, girl. All right. So the next couple animals, we've talked about alligators. We've talked about a crocodile. We've talked about snapping turtles. Those are kind of like the more iconic ones. These next ones are more elusive. We actually don't know a lot about them. These next few animals are something called caiman. And caiman are like the chihuahuas of the crocodilian family. They're small but mighty. And the first species of caiman are ones that are often, keep in mind, all crocodilians are illegal in California, but throughout the US, a lot of times people try to keep these as pets. And this is, both species you're about to meet are labeled as a dwarf caiman. This first one is readily available. They get about 7 feet long, so not very dwarf, same size as that Morlet's. And it has a temperament to match. You're about to meet something called a smooth front caiman, and they would be native to South America as well. These guys actually hunt on land. There are scales on their back. All crocodilians have something called an osteoderm, which is like a really hard scale on their back. They're all different, and their osteoderms help them go through really thick brush in the jungle, because these guys hunt capybaras, they hunt pacas, and any small mammal. Now this is Balthazar, and he came to live with us from a zoo in Texas. And whenever he came, he was a little bit smaller than this. We've had him for about 8 months now, and like I said, still very, very young. Smooth front caiman have a horrible temperament though. We do love working with them, but there's still not a lot really known because they're so elusive in the wild. So we're still trying to study them and learn more about these guys. They're a very, very beautiful caiman though. Now, the animal I'm going to go get from behind the stage is also something called a dwarf caiman. And these two are often mixed up. All right, so the caiman I'm holding right here is something called a Cuvier's dwarf caiman. And the one Daniel is holding is called a smooth front caiman. They look very similar to the untrained eye. The problem is, places online selling these guys as pets will sell that animal as this animal. That animal gets 7 feet long and has a temperament to match. While this animal you're seeing right here is much better tempered. Not saying he's great. This is an animal we've worked with every day for 1.5 years. And so the differences between the two are the head shape, the coloration, and the eyes. Cuvier's dwarf caiman have red eyes, where the smooth front caiman has that light tan. Now we are going to let Balthazar go back up, but I'm going to keep Cusco out. Cusco would be found in South America, mainly in the Amazon River. And they would hunt actually fish and insects. Now, you would think, most people don't think about predators for caiman, right? You don't think about something that would eat something like this. Does anybody know what the main predator of a caiman is? Jaguars. Jaguars are their main predator. Now, you would think, this animal, not that impressive, right? Pretty small, kind of puny. But you guys are about to meet one of our adult dwarf caiman whenever Daniel gets back out here. And one thing we like to talk about is how smart all the animals you guys have met are. So we do something at Safari Encounters called tap training. And we don't believe in alligator wrestling. It's super stressful for the animal. We always want to put our animals' health and well needs first. And so we tap train all of our animals to come to us willingly. We have fires every year now, apparently. And so we have a 10, 11-foot alligator that will actually shift into a carrier on his own. That way we don't have to touch him or stress him out any more than the situation is. The animal right here is tap trained, so he actually will come right to me. Whenever we go home tonight, he goes back into his enclosure. You'll notice he's kind of white looking. He's not an albino. The water where we have is very hard, and he's actually covered in algae that dried out on the drive here. I want you guys, this is about a 2-year-old animal. You guys are about to meet Akama. And Akama is a 15-year-old animal that came to us from another zoo that was downsizing because of COVID. This is what this animal turns into. Most people don't realize that when they go online and they see the cute baby, what they're getting into. Now, Akama came, like I said, with another dwarf caiman, and this is the smallest species of crocodilian that we know of. And it might look kind of familiar. If you guys saw the new Jurassic Park movie, the one with Chris Pratt, you saw something called the Indominus Rex. It was based off the animals in front of you right now. Down to the sounds. Crocodilians make a variety of sounds, all of them do. Some can make over 20 different sounds that mean different things. And the reason we love to talk about crocodilians is because a lot of people don't love them. They see our mammal program and they're like, oh my gosh, I love the sloth. But they see the caiman and they're like, meh. The reason we want you guys to love crocodilians like we do is they're helping people more than you ever know. There is a crocodile from Australia that's starting to be a treatment. Their blood is starting to be a treatment for HIV. Cayman crocodiles, alligators, their blood are being studied because they can live in water and have open wounds and they don't get bacteria infections. So we're studying their blood to get different antibiotics for people. So it's really important that we protect the animals you guys have seen, but so many more. Out of all the crocodilians, 6 are already critically endangered, while the other few are on the vulnerable and endangered list. So it's really important that we do our part in helping crocodilians. We hope you enjoyed this program. We are going to be putting Akama back up whenever Daniel has a breath to be able to pick him back up. This is actually our smaller dwarf caiman. We also have Lord Farquaad that will be here tomorrow, who is a little bit bigger than this guy. Good job, Akama. And still have all the fingers, important. All right, so you guys, we're gonna be getting Darth Gator back out. We'll be answering any questions. We hope you enjoyed this crocodilian program, learned a little bit, and remember to be nice to wildlife.
Here, come on.